أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another edition of the Health Show. I'm Mateen Sharif, your host for today. The topic for today's discussion is epilepsy. Now, epilepsy is a condition that affects approximately 500,000 individuals in UK alone. It predominantly affects the young. In fact, 1 in 300 are affected in UK. Worldwide, it affects almost 50 million people. Now, depending on where you are, there's a wide variation in terms of the attitude culturally and socially, historically and even currently towards this condition. In some parts of the world, people who suffer from this condition are actually revered almost as sacred, whilst in other parts of the world, individuals who have epilepsy are vilified, almost given a demonic status. In fact, the enemies of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ accused him of having epileptic fits during the time of revelation of the Quran. So this is an extremely important condition which affects individuals, families, societies, and has an enormous impact on the health economy worldwide. To discuss these questions and many more, I'm joined here today by an expert who in fact is a consultant neurologist, not to be confused with a urologist, such as myself. Now, a neurologist, he'll tell us what he does very shortly, but thank you very much, Dr. Osheik Seidi, for being here. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Jazakallah khair, Brother Mateen, and thanks to Islam Channel to give me the opportunity.
It's a pleasure. Now, I believe you actually work at the Sunderland Royal Hospital as well as at the Regional Neurosurgical Centre in Newcastle, is that right?
It's a neurosciences center in
Okay.
Newcastle.
So can you tell us, what does a neurologist do as opposed to a urologist, first of all?
As Mateen hinted, neurologist and urologist are slightly different. So neurologists deal with the brain disorders and the nerves as well as the muscles.
Right.
While the urologists, work with the kidneys and the
Prostate and bladder.
prostate and
So
the
it's
bladder.
true to say that neurologists are more clever, as a general rule, than urologists.
Not at all, not at all. I think urologists also do a high esteemed job, and I think we are all doctors are.
Well, thank you very much for that. Let's just start by asking you about epilepsy. Just what causes epilepsy? What's the pathophysiology? How does it come about?
The exact cause of epilepsy is not known as yet, but in a small number of patients, there are lesions in the brain, like disorders of the brain, which can trigger epilepsy.
Mm-hmm.
And these could be, like a small birth mark in the brain, like arteriovenous malformations,
Mm-hmm.
or cavernomas. But more serious brain disorders can also present as seizures, like brain tumors can well present as epileptic fits. And in most of the cases, there are no cause is found. It's called idiopathic epilepsy.
So is it true to say the majority of epilepsy is idiopathic, or do we know the causes for majority of epilepsy?
We don't know the cause for the majority of cases.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we do suspect a possible underlying cause, but we cannot find it with the investigation we have today. We call it cryptogenic.
Right.
So as if I see the moon, but I don't know where the light comes from.
Cryptogenic, the word cryptogenic means hidden or unknown.
Hidden or unknown, but it's highly suspected.
Right.
There are certain patterns of epilepsy which are highly suspected to come from particular parts of the brain.
Yeah.
But whatever test we do, we can't identify them.
So what happens, I mean, in terms of the nerves, the neuronal activity, what happens in somebody who has an attack or a seizure, an epileptic seizure?
An epileptic seizure is a lot of discharge is coming from a group of brain cells,
Yeah.
which are going like very fast and making like an electric storm.
Mm-hmm.
And this storm could be limited to one part of the brain, where we call this is focal epilepsy,
Yeah.
or partial epilepsy.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it starts in all the brain at the same time. It's called generalized epilepsy.
Okay. So